Don't pay a quarter, don't pay a dime, don't pay a penny, don't waste your time. If half a penny is all he asks, don't give him any. Lay off his tracks, my half a penny is what he'll say. Still a steep price, just walk away.
Good afternoon, Heat Nation, folks, Phuket, and everything in between and beyond. My name is Roy, the host of my Pennies, my worthless of a penny, and of course these post-games pennies, as I wasn't able to record yesterday after the win against the Brooklyn Nets, and then I was just basically kind of trying to get everything together to talk about both of the games. Yesterday, the loss against the Celtics, how they feel, how they really are, and basically how we, what's happening with us and what's going to happen with us, and some very interesting, again, takes that I had speaking specifically with Raf. I show the messages between Raf and I now because I just want you to know that he's not imaginary. And again, the only reason that I'm wearing this is because whatever is underneath it is, worse than what this looks like. Trust. And yes, I'm not a person that understands basketball. I've always admitted it. And so I look at the numbers, and some of the numbers make sense to me. Some of them don't make any sense to me. But at the end of the day, what did I see, right? First of all, against Brooklyn Nets, horrible game, right? Very frustrating. There were times that it seemed like Wiggins wanted to take every single shot. He was pivotal on defense. But, it wasn't a game that I felt like we were doing what we needed to do in every single sense of the word, right? It felt like a game that we only won because the other team is just simply worse, right? However, if you look at the charts, you see, for example, look at that. Like Andrew Wiggins trying to take all those shots, it was 3 of 11 from the field, right? 2 out of 5 from 3 points. Otherwise, it has a 10-point. But then the plus minus 9, right? 2 steals, 2 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 of those defensive. So again, right, those numbers may not lie, but it was very annoying at times. Didn't like the way that he played at certain times. Then at the same time, we actually saw a team that gutted out an ugly win, and those count as well, just like any ugly goal. We talked about that before. So much appreciated under winning against a team that seems to be trying to lose, by the way, but yet we still had positive impact from, for example, Khalil Ware, right, with plus minus 5. He had 8 out of 11 field goal made, 72 field goal percentage. We'll talk about him very soon. 1 to 2 3-point mates, 88% at the line. And, again, right, 1 personal foul, only 4 blocks, 1 assist, 12 rebounds, 3 of those offensive. But I'm not going to read the entire stat line for the Brooklyn Nets. I just want to say those were completely different games. The most important thing for me to see here is that we shot 89 and made 41, right? We shot 89 times and we made 41 versus them who shot 98 and made 38 of their field goals attempts, which clashes drastically with what we saw against the Celtics, in which we took 102 shots and yet scored only 40 versus their 82 shots, scoring 44. And at the end of the day, yes, I think that, number one, it was a good game. I liked it. I liked the fact that we were again undermanned, and yet we were able to come up with a good game for most parts of it. But again, right, that tattoo that I want to put on myself, 48 minutes, that means a lot. And it does seem like at times they stop defending, but then you also look at the opponent and you kind of see, okay, then Sam Hauser gets, 2 threes right at the start of the fourth quarter to kind of calm things down. We kind of try to give it back with Fontecchio, try to do something, but it was just tremendously. For example, Norman Powell against the Celtics, it had 1 out of 11 in 3 points attempts made, right? So 7 out of 21, had a minus 12, 18 points. Again, he's contributing, right? 60% of free throw, 3 out of 5, for example, right? I mean, obviously, Normal Powell, which is not out of scrutiny, is a problem. And of course, we have Bam here being called the worst. Jaime and Bam being called the worst players, and the plus minus show. 46% from the field. Didn't took 1 3 point and missed it. 66%. Again, four out of six. Those two free throws are so important. We shouldn't be missing those. Again, same thing, right? 3 out of 4 for Jaime Hackers. Just one free throw missed, but 33% from the field and 20% from beyond the arc. Whereas Khalil Ware was 66% from the field, 85% from three, 6 out of 7. An amazing outing for him. But then he has a -9 with 24 points, 2 personal fouls, no turnovers, 1 block, the only block, by the way, the Miami Heat had. No steals, 2 assists, 14 rebounds, 5 of those offensive. I don't understand how he's a -9. I don't understand how he's a minus at all. I don't know if I said -6. I was looking at Bam Bio, but I don't understand how he's a minus at all. We had Kasparas Yakutionis playing an amazing game, and that is very exciting because whenever we see a rookie actually thriving the first games, being hunted on the offense. We're going to show here on the screen. I read showing snippets of Cooper Moorhead's notebook and seeing how much it was hunted. Gosh, on by offensive players, especially Jalen Brown, and how they did terribly on those stretches because Jakob Jones is actually not a guy that you can bully as well. It turns out. Now, of course, from a rookie, expecting consistency, I think, is the biggest issue, and I'm not sure what's going to happen when the roster gets healthier, which is what happens all the time. We never know. But again, right? Let's look at the game charts from the 106-95 win against Brooklyn. We had 51 rebounds to their 24, 23 assists. By the way, we dropped the sixth in the NBA in assists. We had 9 steals versus their 7, 8 blocks that game versus their 7, 14 turnovers. So they won with only 12. We shot 46% from the field, and again, above 30% from beyond the arc. 78% free throws versus their 72%. But what stands out again is that against the Celtics, we were 39% from the field. They were 53% from the field. We were actually almost at 40% from beyond the arc. And then they managed to have that magnet ball, as Raf calls it, with almost 49% from beyond the arc. And again, our free throws are 70% and they're 83%. Not that the free throws are the point. Blocks, they had 8. We had only 1. They had 8 steals. We had 6 steals. We had 27 assists. They had 26 assists. We had 1 more rebound than them. In general, it wasn't that much of a situation that seemed like we took 20 more shots, like I said, right? I'm reading right now from Coops. 17-6 advantage when it comes to the offensive glass. And 3 fewer turnovers. No, we had 1 fewer turnover, at least at that point, at least according to what I see here in the NBA. I don't know where Coop was reading or how he was counting the turnovers. I see that all the time. But, we had 1 fewer turnover. So, looking at the situation, what I can see is a game that we had a lot to, we had a lot of intensity, effort. We had, in my opinion, the right players starting. Where I'm going to say that again because I believe that that's true. I might be wrong. I might not know what I'm talking about, but I think that it positively impacts the floor. Generally speaking, for example, being 8th in the NBA in rebounds, right? Top 5 in the league when he's paired with Bam Adebayo in defensive rating. Field goal percentage is 14th in the NBA at 54%. I do not understand why you don't want this guy starting and having, say, Wiggins come off the bench. Maybe not. Maybe like Raf said, have Davion Mitchell come off the bench in that case. But then, of course, you wouldn't be able to have Wiggins. Then Wiggins would also have to come off the bench, I guess, right? And then you would put Ware in their places, Ware and Pelle Larsson, which I kind of agree on that one a little bit because I think Pelle Larsson is one of those players that does get warm as time goes by, and if it doesn't, of course, it's going to be taken out. Spo mentioning a little bit of frustration with Ware taking so many threes. I mean, come on, they dropped. But of course, at the end of the day, once the difference kind of became close to double digits, we started taking desperation shots. A lot of people are going to blame Bam for not being aggressive enough. I agree with that. A lot of people are going to say Bam needs to be traded. And I disagree with that because I do think, look, at the end of the day, what I'm going to say is this. I'm not expecting any trades, right? I don't know what's going to happen. I do think that something is going to happen. Something like, somebody mentioned the other day, but it was a perfect example. Something like a Jay Crowder, PJ Tucker or what it was Jay Crowder and Nagy at the time. I think they came together. That's the kind of trade that maybe we're looking at, and that's again fine. We don't understand exactly what's happening. We do not have, as Rap says and mentions, a true point guard who would benefit, would allow Bam and Ware to play better. But of course, a true point guard. And again, that hurts to say because I agree with Raf that Davion Mitchell's efficiency can decrease, but he hasn't really decreased that much. He has still been efficient in assistance, and it still depends heavily on people, of course, to be on the right position and actually execute well. And I think that's one of the issues. We haven't been executing well at stretches. We haven't been defending well at stretches, and sometimes it's impossible to defend when the Celtics can shoot with their eyes closed and the ball is going to fall, which we have seen before in the past. So we split this back-to-back 1-1. Second of a back-to-back looked a lot better than the first one against the Brooklyn Nets. I don't know if the Brooklyn Nets allowed for that, but the pacing there was actually not that bad, and the shots were still not happening. It was just ridiculous. And in this one, it was a very interesting game for quite some time for us, where I thought that we were going to come out with a win, and of course deflated once we actually saw the reality that they are a lot better than us, I guess. I mean, honestly, it's not true, but they are a lot better than us when it comes to three-point shooting, which has become a problem. I did see Fontecchio improving on this front, right? What is his stat line? Fontecchio in particular, I did see him a little bit improved there. Had 7 points, a -1. He had 2 assists, 4 rebounds, one of those offense. I saw him a little bit better. I know he only got 2 threes, but I saw him a little bit better. And I saw that it was not bad defensively. Again, I did see his value defensively, and perhaps that helped him a little bit to get to the point. But yes, not a good game for Bam Adebayo. Not a good game for, actually, no, I'm reading the wrong one here. That is not the right one. Sorry, guys. Fontecchio, 12 points, but then a -4. Sorry. I mean, I was reading the Brooklyn Nets. That's the one that had 7. But 12 points for Fontecchio this time. He had 1 turnover, and then he had 4 rebounds, 2 of those. 4 assists, no, 4 assists and 2 rebounds, 2 defensive rebounds. Then I thought I thought he actually did well. I thought, of course, the problem lies in the obvious minuses here with Jaime Jaquez, Bam Adebayo, and Drew Smith. I was actually very pleasantly surprised by Martin Garden, especially, him being a guy. I said that we only had 1 block in a game, and I think that's true. We only had 1 block in the game, and that didn't come from Martin Garden, but still playing very good defense, giving us great minutes. Rashad Johnson being an interesting player with the +6. I mean, Golden just exists. So I'm not, at least as far as it comes to the team. I don't know what we're going to do to improve. I do expect things to be better. And I do think that, again, let's say we play exactly like this for 48 minutes, we win the game. And actually hitting those threes. We play exactly like this, and then you insert Hero, you insert Pedro Larson, you insert Wiggins back into the equation. Of course, Davion Mitchell back into the equation. Perhaps we can keep scoring better. I mean, the players are there for at least in the East, for us to be a top 6 team and not have to worry about the play-in. But we're playing like a play-in team. That's undeniable. In any case, guys, stay safe, stay dry, stay warm, stay as happy as possible in this very complicated world of ours. Let's go Heat.